Happy Friday to all my friends out there. I'm coming to you live from the beautiful cold city of Boston, Massachusetts. It is frigid out there, and I am fully climate adjusted to Caribbean weather. You can keep this. In fact, today as I do this live, my understanding, if you're in Florida, you got to let me know that it is dead cold in Florida right now. I was in the Inner Circle chat this morning, one of our Inner Circle chats, and they were sending around temperatures like 35 in Tampa, like 43 in Fort Lauderdale. Keep it. Anybody who says, why didn't you just move to Florida instead of Dominican Republic? The weather's the same. You're an idiot. Okay? You're an idiot if you think the weather's the same. I've been in Miami in the winter. I had to wear a hat. Not the same. Anyway, welcome to everybody. I see you over here in the comments. Drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. I see you, Hilda. Good to see you. Skeptical59. Always a pleasure. David Fofi, 3572. Great to see you. We got a lot of topics to cover today. This is really an Ask Me Anything type video. What's up, Robert Marone? Bobby. Does anyone else have a lag? A lag? Is there a lag? So sorry if there's a lag. I'm on internet at a hotel, so let me know if this is okay. But it's good to see all of you. It's good to see those of you joining. Hit that like button, subscribe. In fact, I think I have a thing to say that. Hold on, let me see if I can click on it. Like and subscribe. Hit the like button. There it is. And subscribe. This way we can get this video a bit more reach. And if you're watching this on replay, welcome. We're going to dive into some really interesting topics. So every Friday at noon, this is called the Gruber Nation Live broadcast. We're going to do this on YouTube. Maybe I'll add in Instagram and TikTok later. But for now, YouTube's the spot. Here are the topics for today we're going to cover. Number one is sargassum. Sargassum, if you're not familiar, is a really nasty seaweed that has been all over the Caribbean, Florida, everything else, that has been a problem for not only here, but many other places of the world. And there's been some interesting articles, discussion points, questions about sargassum that I'm going to cover in depth. We're then going to get into some questions that I'm going to answer for you around the DR banking system, not like the system at large, but a lot of people have questions about banks and all of that. The trash issue in the Dominican Republic, what is it called? Pollution or littering and all of that good stuff. We're going to get into U.S. cell phone use in Dominican Republic, how to make money on your rental in DR. I had questions about that. And then if there's time at the end, we're going to talk about the most important topic of the weekend. Please let me know if you know what that is. Drop it down below. There is one topic that trumps all other topics. What is that? Drop it down in the chat and I'll reveal it for you in a second. I'm just going to say hi to a few people here. Well, let me go back to my big guy here. Bobby Marone, one of my favorite people. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. We got Soul Astray saying saludos familia. Very nice. Hello from Ontario, Canada. Is it colder there than it is in Boston? Because it's freaking cold in Boston. And I brought my guy, my buddy, my partner at Jeffers Studios, which, by the way, book Jeffers Studios for your next photo, wedding, shoot, whatever you need. My buddy Eric, he's in the U.S. for the first time ever. Got his visa, 2 weeks ago?
Yes, sir.
2 weeks ago. So he's come with me to the U.S. We stepped outside. We stepped outside of the airport. He has this sweater on, right? Like what he thought was warm, but you can see it's one of these like knit sweaters. So he steps outside and he's like, it's not so bad. We're at the Uber line at the airport. And then a minute later, he's like, it's getting colder out. The weather's changing. I'm like, no, man, you just came from outside. From inside heat to outside. And he's like, no, the temperature's changing. And this isn't the right shirt because the wind is just cutting through him. Not good. So I'm like, all right, well, the Uber's 2 minutes out, right? I had this on, literally this little thin sweater and a hat. I'm cold, but I'm kind of like remembering this. But first time ever. Dude's never even been in like an industrial freezer at a restaurant before, right? So never been surrounded by that kind of weather. And he's like, open the suitcase and get the coats. I'm like, the Uber's 2 minutes away. I don't care. Get the coat. He's got gloves, a hat, 3 coats on before the Uber gets there. Then the Uber driver, hilarious enough, doesn't speak a lick of English. He's from Santiago. Amazing. So Eric lands in the United States for the first time. And the first interaction he has with somebody out of the airport is a Dominican dude. It was hilarious. By the way, drop it in the comments. Say hi, Eric. E-R-I-C-K. Say hi, Eric. Drop that in the comments. Spam the comments. Blow it up. Give this video a like. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. But poor Eric got a taste of cold weather for the first time. Last quick story, then we're going to get into sargassum. We're driving in the Uber, and over on the left side, you see a car parked on the side of the road, like no big deal, but it's over a grate, like a steam grate, like the drainage dish. He's like, is there a fire under that car? I'm like, no, man, that's the air is cold. like the air is like you're seeing air. That's how cold it is. He's like, oh, I've seen that in the movies, like people breathing. So the poor guy, the poor guy. All right, so let's see where else we got here. William Deptula. Hello, good to see you. Soul Astray, watching from New York. Good to see you. Watching from Bulgaria. Amazing skeptical. I love it. Hello from Long Island. I see Albert Jimenez, my buddy. Good to see you. Bobby Marone. Cap Cana is not the last topic, my friend. Bobby Marone is the biggest apologist for Cap Cana in the world. That is not the most important topic. We're going to talk about that in a second. Barcelona, or Barcelona, as we say it. Good to see you, V Goaler. We got it's Antarctica in Ontario right now. I'll bet it is. So what, Regina? Is cool in Boston. Yes, it is, Luis. By the way, Eric and I are going to an Inner Circle meetup tonight at 6:30 p.m. If you're not part of the Inner Circle and want to be a part of it, please join jamiegruber.com. Just go there. And tonight you can join us. Once you get into the WhatsApp chat, you'll see the location and everything like that. But excited to go do that. And I'm going to do another one in New York here in the near future. From Tennessee, in Sosua right now. Good for you, Mike. I hope you're enjoying it down there. Hilda. Hi, Eric. Welcome to the U.S. Bobby Marone says, hello, Eric, 3 times. Jamie.
Hey, looking at you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hilda said, Jamie brings you in the winter. Why would I bring him in another part of the year? Like he's got to see what it's like to come in the winter. My goodness. Amesbury, Massachusetts. Good to see you. William Wallace. Good to see you. Hello from Connecticut says, La Rich Box. That's a funny name in my brain. My 12-year-old brain just like laughed internally on that name, if that's actually the name. Hello from Houston, Texas. Good to see you. Hey, Eric says, skeptical. You want cold, visit Montreal when it's -30. No doubt, man. Pirate Chef. What a great name. Freezing in Boston, but we'll be there in 64 days. Wow, interesting. Very specific. And Rodney says, hello. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you, Rodney. All right, let's dive into these topics. By the way, the last topic, the most important topic of the weekend, if we can get to it, Bills Broncos. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? Bills Broncos. We're going to go to a Bills bar here in Boston that I used to go to all the time when I lived here. So on Saturday, I got to go to my mother-in-law's to bring her some cannoli from Mike's Pastry for her birthday, and then I'm coming back and see my sister-in-law who lives in the Linfield area, and then I'm going to come back into the city for an early enough to go see the game at my favorite Bills bar, which is actually overflowing. So we have to go to a separate bar. Hello from a Dominican living in Boston. Good to see you, Alba. Glad to see you here. And then Dan, what's the plan today, guys? Plan is a lot of Freedom Trail, fun stuff like that. I'm going to give him a tour of the city after we're done here. All right, let's talk about sargasm. Here's the genesis of where this question comes from. Let me pop it in here. HMum8 over on Instagram asked this question. How is the sargasm now? And I'll answer the question, and I'm going to show you guys a few different things that I think are really interesting on the sargasm topic as we roll into it. So I might cut out the beginning of this for the replay, so let me just say this. Welcome to Gruber Nation's Friday Live. The topic we're going to start with, along with other questions being answered, is this one. How is the sargasm now? Thanks, HMum8, for the question. And we're going to talk through all the different things that have to do with sargasm, a bunch of stuff in the news right now. So let me get this off the screen real quick. By the way, again, comment, like, do all the things. It really helps out. Say hi to Eric, who's here for the first time from the Dominican Republic, experiencing the cold. Say hi in the comments. It would be amazing. All right. Here's the deal. There's a Caribbean travel alert for 2026 per this article. New sargasm forecast shows early seaweed surges that could impact vacation beaches now. And as a quick aside, my kids and I and wife are all reading the Harry Potter series, and it looks like my computer hears that by putting this ad up about Draco Malfoy, who I don't like in Harry Potter. We just read the second book after the first book. We're going to watch the second movie, then go to the third book. Caribbean travel alert, new sargasm forecast shows early seaweed surges that can impact vacation beaches now. In Punta Cana at the moment, there is a little bit there. There is a little bit there. Where I live, I get to go to places like Playa Blanca, Casa Club, those sorts of things. And there's just a little on the beach. Normally this time of year, it is completely clean. Like you could eat off of it, you know, like really clean. But right now, admittedly, there is just like a thin, like that wide stretch of like seaweed. And they come, they clean it up. It's like one swipe, it's gone. It's fairly benign. However, it's there. So I definitely see where this could be. And to be honest with you, there was a decent amount of sargasm later than we've had it previously, later in the season than we've had it previously. So that is an area of concern definitely for the Caribbean. Let me find the next article I was going to pop up on this. Here we go. What's interesting what's interesting is, hold on, how do I do this? I got such a pain with this system sometimes. Let me do that, and then do this, and then do this, and then do, where are you? This, here we go. What's interesting about sargassum is they've actually figured out where it came from recently. So we're just going to do a little bit of a background, and then I'm going to go into some of the other stuff. We're going to talk about solutions and technologies and where I think sargassum is going to be most beneficial for the world, if you will. But let's talk about the impact on the Caribbean right now. How is this happening? Lots of theories out there about how it happens. Oh, out of Brazil, there's this runoff. It meets with nitrates in the ocean. Places like DR have sewage that might be leaking into the ocean and creates this bloom, if you will. But unfortunately for those theories, all of that is found not to be true, at least based on the most recent scientific evidence. The reality of how sargassum is blooming is this. You have the sargassum sea, which is like middle of the Atlantic, which has this stuff. It creates cover for sea life there in the middle of the Atlantic, the sargassum sea. So it's been there for a long time. At a certain point, as the North and South Atlantic temperature really diverged quite a bit, it churned up, what is it, like phosphates, I think it is, in the ocean floor, the bottom of the ocean. Is it phosphates? I might not be the right word, but churned up something in the ocean floor. Live, folks. The words, if they're not right there, I can't research and edit it out, but somebody will know the word. It'll pull that stuff out of the ocean floor. Those phosphates or whatever then interact with the sargassum, and there is a natural connection between whatever's coming out of the ocean floor and the bloom of sargassum. So as it's hitting the sargassum and blooming, it's spreading into different currents. It's going through different parts of the Atlantic Ocean. Is getting bigger and bigger every year, probably doubling in size every year, at least for the last few. And this has been around for about 15 years, but seasons are high, seasons are low. They cleaned it up a couple months, but now we're getting into like long stretches, more of it, so on and so forth. So it's getting the attention of not only governments, but private enterprises to mitigate it, and also entrepreneurs that know ways and have ways. And I'm going to show you one of the biggest ways that's becoming the biggest, I think, rave for what sargassum will create. So entrepreneurs are finding their way into the space to leverage this stuff, this seaweed, for products and using it for different things. So there's a lot of interesting things happening, but we're going to go through this period of pain, in my opinion, especially now that we're learning, like, this is just a natural sort of byproduct of climate change. Look, I'm going to be really clear on this topic, on climate change. I'm not a denier. I'm not a supporter. I think anytime you've got an industry built out of something like the cancer industry, they're never going to solve it because it's more profitable to just sort of like let it limp along. So I get really skeptical with those that really push like the world is dying because of climate change. Like, no, I think the world is getting a lot of money in the climate change corridor for those that want to be connected to it. But do I also believe that the climate's changing? Yes. How much humans actually impact that has never been proven. Humans have an impact. How much? I don't know. But be that as it may, climate change has impacted the temperature change between the North and South Atlantic Ocean, has created this churning of natural things in the ocean that interact with the sargassum that was already there, and here it blooms. This is why the North Shore, which is sort of marketing, hey, we don't have a sargassum issue, it's not a problem here, that's fine. But as this seed stock gets into different currents and moves around, eventually it likely will impact all parts of the Dominican Republic, the southern part of Florida, and other islands in the Caribbean. So it's a big problem. It's a big problem for sure. All right, let me see what the next article I wanted to share with all of you is. Oh, I could show you how big a problem it is. I think I could show you with this article. One second. Why is this article not popping up? There it is. Let me remove this. I need to stop the screen, and I need to share the screen again. It's the only limitation with this technology. Oh, and I'm gonna anyway. All right, you're not gonna be able to see this clean, but I'll show it anyway, just so you know I'm not lying. The Florida Sun Sentinel. I'm not going to become a member for $1 for a year, but the Florida Sun Sentinel says researchers study, and if you can't see it, it's like the fact that the sargassum issue is already now and will be a big problem for Florida. I share this because what I try to do with my content, guys, like I love my life and I love the country, Dominican Republic, right? I love everything there is about it. I never want to glaze, but at the same time, I don't want to, I'm not an alarmist. That's just not me. A lot of people need me to be, or they say they need me to be. It's like, you don't tell the truth. The truth means I'm not being negative. I'm not going to be negative. I just want to paint the picture like Yes, Dominican Republic has to deal with this, as does Grenada and other Mexico and other places in the Caribbean and in Latin America. But so does Florida. Like, this isn't like, I don't want, for those that feel that they're just looking for the demise of DR, I'm not going to give you that. I'll never give you that, because I see the Dominican Republic as a resilient place that's going to find a way. Doesn't mean it won't be pain in the interim, but it'll find a way. And if you need evidence of that, here's another example, right? It also impacts places like Florida. So this whole thing of like, DR's dealing with it. Well, so is the United States. And there are other articles that were just published today quantifying multi-million-dollar impacts of sargassum, like actual dollars lost because of sargassum in the US, not in the Caribbean, not in the Dominican Republic. There's loss there too, but the US is already quantifying the losses they're suffering because of sargassum. And by the way, if you're just joining, drop in the comment where you're coming from. I love seeing, where we get our audience from around the world. So, all right, let's go to one more article I want to share with you, which is the innovation in sargassum that's available. And then we're going to move on to other questions that I got from the Ask Me Anything. But let me go here. All right, before I pop this article up, it's ready for me to do so. There's a lot of different use cases for sargassum. There is fertilizer. There are bricks being made out of sargassum. There's a lot of different things, but there's one industry, as I've talked to different people, that seems to have maybe the biggest demand for it, meaning this product is in high demand around the world, and you'll see what it is. You'll be like, oh, of course. Where I guess the way in which sargassum can be extracted, moved around, and not lose its potency like it can for fertilizer, it has better use cases, less expensive, less, overwhelming use cases for this particular product. And it's one that's going to create the desire to mitigate and pull this stuff out of the ocean. And I'm going to share how that's happening right now as well. Can anybody guess what it is before I share it? What industry do you think sargassum seems to be getting the most traction with? What products in the world do you think sargassum might be fueling? While you're thinking about that and dropping it down below, I'm just going to look through some of these comments to see if there's anything that I missed here. Here's a question from V. Larak. How long is it usually around? And since Meaches is the same coast, are they affected? Well, Meaches is really not the same coast. If you look at this way, like Punta Cana's down here, Meaches is up and over here, like in the bay, right? So I don't see it there. I don't see it in Meaches. Maybe there's like a little bit, but it's not affecting it right now. Doesn't mean it won't. But usually it's like June-ish through May-ish through like by end of October, it's usually gone. This year it lasted well into November. Even parts had some early December sargassum. Some of that might have been like a push and then it went away. And right now, like I said, it's really not around. But Meaches I haven't seen being impacted by it yet. But again, doesn't mean that it will. Larix Box says, need to update that old YouTube screen. No, I get it. Let's see what Albert says. The issue arises for those who are unprepared that seaweed offers opportunities in agriculture, bioplastics, livestock feed. I see seaweed as a highly profitable, akin to rare earth elements. You know what, Albert? You and I both, my friend. You and I both. Let's see. And here we go. We had this one, Enrique. Most of the north side of the island is free of sargassum. Again, I agree. Right now, yes. Terena saw some this year for the first time ever. Las Terena saw some. Cabarete, all of that. Here you go. Enrique says, Susu and Cabarete. I think I might have said it after you said that. I didn't see your comments. But yes, you're right now. But I just want to make sure my friends on the North Shore realize, like, this is something to consider. If you're investing or moving or whatever, sargassum is a beast. It's not only going in the areas that it's going right now, right? Bahia is another spot. Bahia might be protected by Saona. The backside of Saona catches it. So Bahia might be, to me, if there's a spot, I can say, man, I don't think it's going to happen there. Probably there. But the North Coast, by sitting in on, I've sat in on sargassum conferences with scientists and experts and people in the field. I'll share one of them right now who have been at this since the very beginning of it. They're like, great marketing for right now, but you got to be mindful on the North Coast that this is going to be a problem for you as well. Let me see if somebody guessed it. So Bobby Marone says bricks. So I asked the question, what do you think has a very promising industry for sargassum that can create products? What products do you think it is? We've got Alex P saying building materials, plastics, all good stuff. I popped this up. I heard last time it isn't so bad. No, it's not bad, but they've got some. They never had it before, is my point on sargassum. Let me see what else we got. Bricks, we said, all of that. No. So the industry, and I'm going to pop it up right now, the product that seems to have a lot of attention for sargassum, and this isn't the only one, but just so you know, is this one. beauty products. Ladies, you're going to be smearing sargasm on your face. Gentlemen, just kiss him on the neck because the face might stink like seaweed. I'm just kidding. But this stuff has a lot of properties and principles, and I guess the use so far as they're seeing it from what I've learned has a lot of, it's a very easy transition into beauty products. Also in fertilizer, also in some other things for sure. And like Albert said, there's a lot of profit potentially in sargassum. But beauty products are definitely one of the most popular industries I'm seeing and hearing about from people on the ground talking about it, where buyers are coming from for this seaweed stock, for this piles of seaweed that these companies are pulling out of the ocean. All right, there are two players that are really interesting in this game that I'm going to share with you that I think you guys should keep an eye on. One of them is an entrepreneur, and he's gotten some attention recently for his product. He's well connected, smart guy. I've had lunch with him. Really, really good dude. And I think just what he's doing is interesting. So I'm going to share him with you first. His name is Andres Bissono. Andres, that's what he looks like. That's just his Google Images page. Andres has a company called SOS Carbon. SOS Carbon is doing two things in the sargassum space. The most obvious is creating fertilizer out of sargassum, and they've got a whole process, government connections, everything else to make that happen. And he's gotten a lot of attention for the work he's doing in sargassum. The other part of it, though, is extraction. And this is where it's really interesting. Like if you were to look at and watch the operation of extraction for what Andres is doing with SOS Carbon, it would look rinky-dink. It would look pathetic. You'd be like, that's the plan? Let me like this. You gotta be kidding me. What they do, essentially, well, let me tell you what they don't do. What you would think would be the way is you got like big boats and barges just sucking it up with these vacuum systems out in the ocean. But every sargassum person I've talked to, from entrepreneur to expert to scientist to whatever, says the same thing. You're not going to capture this. It's way harder, way more expensive to capture this out in the ocean. Where you want to capture it is once it comes into land. That's where you got to grab it. The system that the next guy I'm going to share is working on and has been working on in Punta Cana in particular, that has the most promise with this is you build really good barriers that capture this offshore, most of it. Some's going to sneak through. It's the ocean, right? But you let it come in to a certain point, and then you've got something that blocks it. And then at that point where it's blocked is where you extract it with whatever technology you're going to. What Andres is doing with SOS Carbon is he gets these little skiffs. I mean, I'm talking rowboats with two nets, like a bar across the middle and a net on each side. And they literally scrape whatever sargassum they can off the surface of the ocean. Once it's come in, they scrape, they tie the net and let it float. And then other boats come behind it and pick it up. So the reason why it looks so rinky-dink and small is like, well, if we can't capture it till it comes in, we can't have huge boats because it's too close to shore. Like the bottom of the water, the sea floor is too close. The little boats don't look like much, but if you got a lot of them and they're able to grab these nets and float them, and then other boats pick up the nets, you can pull a lot of sargassum out, and you got all these workers out there. So you can imagine at the highest point of sargassum season, it's going out and grabbing with these little boats all this stuff. It's not the only extraction method. I'll show you a guy that's doing something even more interesting, in my opinion, to really mitigate sargassum. But those are the things that they are doing. So Andres Bissono is one guy to keep an eye on because I think what he's doing is really interesting with SOS Carbon. The other guy to keep an eye on, I have to do this all in like steps. So let me pull him up. Is actually a friend of mine. I've gotten to know him really well over the last couple of years, and he's truly a good person. And his name is Jake Keel. He's going to be a guest soon. Actually, I've already done the interview on Grub with Gruber, so stay here on YouTube. I think this Sunday we're releasing our first of 2026 Grub with Gruber episode, and I've got 4, Eric, right? 4 that we've recorded. Another one coming up, another 2 coming up. So I've got commitment from the CEO of AdaJet. I've got commitment from Frank Ranieri. I've got commitment from Andrew Bustamante. I've got commitment from Charlie Villanueva. I've got some really interesting guests coming up on Grub with Gruber. But anyway, Jake, we'll talk about this on that Grub with Gruber episode much more technically and scientifically than I will. But Jake is the vice president of the Grupo Punta Cana Foundation. So he's like vice president of sustainability, an environmental guy for working with sargassum, trash mitigation, all of it. And what Jake's doing, number one, is they are investing with Grupo Punta Cana in really nice heavy-duty barriers. if you go to like Bavo or Cortecito Beach and you see the resorts put like a barrier out there, like it's like, did you get yourself a 4-wheel drive SUV or a rear-wheel drive, like 4-cylinder, right? Like there's different levels of barrier. From what I've seen, Group of Punta Cana has invested the most in barriers. And that doesn't mean that they don't get sargassum on their shores, but it definitely, you can see the difference when I go to Playa Blanca and Cortecito Beach in the height of sargassum season. So number one, they're investing in that. Number two, they're investing in a vacuum system that they have right now inside of Punta Cana resorts that's sucking this stuff out of the ocean and processing it. It's really interesting. And then the last thing you should know is once it's out of the ocean, its usability varies. Like, I think it's easy to think like, oh, collect it all, put it somewhere, sell it, and whatever. But like, as soon as it's gone, it loses an amount of potency. It dies. And some of it needs to be like close to life or living essentially to be usable in many different industries. I think this is why cosmetics are interesting, because cosmetics might require the least of it. Like it has the most shelf life after it's out of the ocean, from what I understand. I'm not an expert, by the way, just sharing what I hear from people on sargassum. But at the end of the day, a guy like Jay Keel has been beating the drum on sargassum for years. The government hasn't listened to this. Yes, they know it's a problem. They think the hotels should deal with it. The hotels know it's a problem. They think the government should deal with it because the beaches are public and yada, yada, yada. But now I think everybody's looking at it and saying, all right, we got to do something. The problem for DR and other countries is they're going to start doing something now as sargassum is blooming to the tune of double every year. So the next 3-4 years, man, it's going to be interesting. How do I see that as an investor? Man, I see everything as an opportunity. When I see distress, I ask the question, is it distress with upside or distress with downside? If it's distress with downside, stay away. Meaning, oh, sargassum's coming, there goes DR, it's over. I don't believe that. I don't see that at all. I think this will be a problem that gets solved, even if there's some pain between here and there. You see distress with upside, like I do in Cortecito, like I do in even Miches, which is just unfounded right now, right? Like it's just not developed yet. And just DR in general, then you invest. As a quick disclaimer, I'm not an investment strategist. I'm not your financial advisor. Talk to your own. My belief is DR is a speculative market. You don't put all your eggs in this basket, but it's definitely a market you want to get exposure to. And then within it, find the submarkets. But I don't see sargassum as a death knell for DR, but I do think they're behind. And I think they need to catch up. And I think they know that as well. And that's the next thing that needs to happen around sargassum. As a reminder, all of this was question one that we had for this AMA. I've got a bunch more questions. I'm going to go much quicker through all of them. In fact, there's multiple on a page. So you're going to be able to read a whole bunch of questions, and I'm going to answer the ones that I can answer. But I hope that paints a picture for you on sargassum in the first 20 or so minutes of this live broadcast today. So there you go. No problems, only solutions. Skeptical. I love that. Let me hear what Papa Penguin is pontificating about. It's a huge problem that is going to require public-private partnerships. It's an all-hands-on-deck situation. Papa Penguin, when you pontificate, I got to get more P's. When Papa Penguin pontificates, it's fucking beautiful. I don't know. I can't think right now. We didn't sleep well last night. It was warm and then cold in here, right? I'm in Boston. If you're just joining me, I'm here with Eric, my partner at Jepper Studios. We're doing an inner circle meetup tonight. I did a trip with AutoJet, never done it before, so I wanted to go from Santo Domingo here. Happy to answer questions about AutoJet. If you have them, just drop them in the comments here. It was actually a really fun flight. It was actually fine. And we made a friend, right?
Yes, sir.
Our lady friend. We have a new lady friend.
Name, Jenny?
Jenny, come on. Jenny was amazing. If she's watching, appreciate you. So I'm in Boston doing this live. That's why I'm in a sweater. That's why I'm in this little sort of thing overlooking the city right now from our hotel. Going to do the inner circle meetup tonight. And then tomorrow will be a combination of going to see my mother-in-law and sister-in-law in the north, on the North Shore. And she was Jenny from a local block. Yes, that's true. Skeptical. And then I got to be back in the city at 4:30 to watch the Bills game, which is probably the most important, but maybe last topic we'll talk about today. Let me see what we got here. Senor Yelkisio. I don't know. Only a matter of time for sargassum to be repurposed, which reminds me, are Singapore's recycling claims real? It's a fair question. I don't know. I don't know enough about Singapore. I got to research Singapore more because Asia and Africa are like emerging markets, like places like Singapore, especially Africa, that are really interesting to me. What do we got here from Richard Burnett? Yo, JG, it's 1 degree here, ready for DR. I feel you, man. I can't wait to get back. Can't wait to get back. Japanese would take full advantage of the sargassum, food, and fertilizer. Manny, you're probably right, my friend. And then Senora's back. Hi, Jamie. To say one is not sure how humans impact climate change is akin to saying to a wife, I'm not sure who is that kid. Senor, here's my question. This is I love this. This is what I like about this. We challenge the point, not the person. That's my rules for this channel. It's my rules for the inner circle. We challenge the point, not the person. I love debate. I have not seen, maybe it's out there, anyone say that. Now, what I've seen is that climate change, there's 100% consensus that climate change has impacts from human beings. I agree with that. Human beings make an impact on climate change. When you see trash, when you see carbon emissions, absolutely. What I haven't seen, though, is the extent to which climate change is a natural phenomenon versus what portion of that is human impacted. Is it 10%? Is it 50%? Is it 5%? There's not consensus on that. There's just not. At least I haven't seen true consensus on that. And it's people will say like 97% of people would attribute climate change to human beings. Agreed. But what portion of it is attributed to human beings? There's a portion of it. The other thing I'll say is, if you look at places like the United States and all the money, this is what makes me skeptical. Where is he? Skeptical. Where are you? Hold on. I got to pop you up just because I like this Jenny from Black. This guy. This is what makes me skeptical on the whole climate change thing is, in the United States, if you got to like a zero emission society, like there was zero impact of human beings on the climate in the United States. I mean, worldwide, India, China, like these places, I mean, they live in a cloud of carbon emission. Like there's no way that the US getting to like zero, like a net zero impact on climate change is going to really do much for the world. It'll have an impact, small, whatever percentage it's impacting climate change. But my bigger thing is, I go back to the cancer thing. My bigger thing is the industry, both ways, by the way. Anytime you've got a big topic like climate change, there is money being funneled to it, and there's people on the other end that are going to convince you that the money should go to them. The same with climate deniers, right? Those who say like, oh, it's absolutely not happening. There's money for that, and there's people that will extract that money. So I am just skeptical and leery about these big topics. And when we get too passionately behind them, what we're doing is putting our money somewhere that's going to go to somebody who's going to slow play a solution because there's way more money in keeping that solution or keeping that problem out there. I can't imagine how cancer is not solved other than treatment, drugs, medical centers, donations, research labs. There's so much money in cancer. You can't solve it. You can't. You're not allowed. Maybe AI will. Who knows? But that's my take. That's my worldview, just so you guys all have a sense. Not that I don't believe humans have an impact on don't have an impact on climate change. I don't know what percentage they do. And I don't know, I'm skeptical of the idea that, I'm skeptical of human beings being involved in the whole idea of like, oh, climate change, we got to fund it. And then businesses pop up and people want to keep the business wheel running and there's profit involved. And that's where, I don't know, it just gets a little nutty for me. Let me see if there's anything else really different down here. Michael Moore also exposed the scam behind green corporations. 100%. Michael Moore, well, all right, real quick. Michael Moore had the whole thing years ago. And then more recently, it was like, well, yeah. And the same with Bill Gates. Bill Gates backed his rhetoric down a little bit, but he went from like the biggest problem in the world to like, well, not now. Like it will be maybe one day, right? And then he's like, no, all I'm saying is like poverty is a bigger thing. That's for the guy who was saying that climate change is bigger than poverty to then say it's not. Like there's something happening out there, folks. Like there's credibility issues with all of these people. I don't trust any of them, nor should you. You shouldn't trust anyone but yourself. Shouldn't trust me. You should trust you and your instinct and all of that. But just be mindful and skeptical, I would say, about those that say, oh, climate change, because there's money in it. There's money in it. What do we got here? Pirate Chef, I'm jealous. I need to join the inner circle for the next meetup. Here's what I would say to all of you. Want to join the inner circle before I go to the questions? Just join guys, listen, we have so many, I can't share some of the stuff. There is a tactic to avoid things like your landlord keeping your deposit, which I did a video on recently, that somebody in the inner circle suggested. Our money's coming back to us. You wouldn't believe it, but I can't share it to tens and hundreds of thousands of people. I can in a group like the inner circle, and I don't share it. Somebody shared it with me. Like it ain't a fan club. It's a community. Like don't wait to join just to go to an inner circle meetup. Like just get in, jump into the WhatsApp chats, guys. JamieGruber.com if you want to check it out. Like I'm all in. Just so you know, I'm unapologetic about promoting my inner circle in 2026. I priced it at $9 a month or 90 a year, because if you are just like, I'm like, here's your $9. I don't want it. I don't need it. But for the $9, I think all of our folks, most of our folks, the grand majority of our folks get disproportionate value. And that's what I like to do. But I am all over the inner circle because we proved the concept last year. So many people save money, time, energy, whatever, by being a part of it. So highly encourage you to take a look, jamiegruber.com. All right, let's do some questions from other people. Let me hide the comment here and we're going to dive into it. Oh, what did I just do? Hide the comment. There we go. All right. Oh, this is small on my screen. Let me see if I can see this. I'm going to do this. Can I change? There we go. Still can't see the question though. Living in DR from, this is so small on my screen. I'm going to have to pull it up. Let me just do something here for myself. All right, here we go. Living in DR from June to August. Any advice to make it more of a way of living than a vacation? Excuse me. If you're going to live here 6 months or there in DR, 6 months a year, what I would say to make it less of a vacation, what I would say is, here's my general thought. I would get involved with what's happening locally, like join chat groups like the Inner Circle, join expat groups, get a gym membership, like kind of normalize your interactions. And then you're like, people ask me like, don't you get bored in Punta Cana? It's like, no, I live there. If you ask me if I were visiting, like what is there to do at this time of day or that time of day? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of touristy stuff. It's probably mostly tailored toward like during the day, go do a boogie card or whatever. But when you're living here, or there in Punta Cana, it's so neighborly, but you got to meet the people. So I would look for any way I could to meet people, because my social dance card is full with like barbecues, get-togethers, birthday parties, nights out, little events in our community that they put on, all of that. So I would just find people and meet them. And I'll say it again, the Inner Circle is a great place. Go to our Punta Cana thread. We got all these threads. I'll show you guys real quick here so you can see it. We got all these threads that are live and active. Life in Punta Cana. Where are we? Life in Punta Cana. Life in the Inner Circle, the market, which you can promote stuff. Life in Santo Domingo, so on and so forth. I just cleared all these out before I jumped in the live, but very active and involved threads. Enrique, I'm going to have to kick you out. You can go now. Anyway, let's go to another question that came up here. I purchased a condo in Vista Cana, says Julie, and I want to rent it out. Any recommendations? Yes, I have a big recommendation for Vista Cana. I don't believe Airbnb and short-term rental is the right play for you. I believe, and I see more and more demand for long-term rental. The challenge for you as an owner is if you bought it with the idea of coming down once, twice a year to stay in it, you won't be able to do that as a long-term renter landlord. But if you're looking for a way to make sure that you make money or at least break even on the place, rent it out long-term. There's a lot of people that are moving here. They want to rent for a bit before they buy. A lot of people moving from Santo Domingo, from Santiago, from Puerto Plata, from the US, from South America. A lot of people moving to Punta Cana. It's at 130, 140,000 people right now with plans to go to 300,000. All of this building, people think is oversaturation, but there's still high demand. It'll have its fits and starts, but it is still high demand, okay? So that is what I would say you should do. Consider renting long-term in Vista Cana. Necheda says, what's your monthly cost of living for a family of 4? We're thinking of moving there. This is a topic that people get really upset with. Eric and I were talking about it last night. Eric is a middle-class Dominican, right? Like, I would consider you that, right? Is that fair? Or am I middle-class Dominican? He's not rich, not poor. He's a middle-class Dominican. He lives in the Punta Cana area. Eric, for you, you have 2 kids. They go to a Spanish-only private school, like Spanish-speaking. Yes. Right? What are you willing to share? Like, how much is the private school for your kids per year, for your 2 kids?
I don't have the number per year.
What is it per month?
Like 170, something like that.
170 per kid?
Yeah.
So like $350 a month?
Around that.
Somewhere in that range? Yes. So 10 months?
Yes.
So $3,500 a year for something 2 kids? Okay. So that's a Spanish-speaking private school. For a bilingual private school, it would be, my kids, I think we're paying like somewhere in the $18,000 to $19,000 for the year, right? So very, very big difference. Bilingual, international, U.S. accredited school versus a local school that speaks Spanish only. And it's a good school. Not one's better than the other. It's just you choose what you want to do. But he's a middle-class Dominican. So if we're going a baseline of $350 a month, what is a reasonable expense per month total to live? You don't have a cleaning lady?
No.
You have air conditioning in your bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay. So your electric bill, your rent, your living expenses, gas, like what do you think? What's reasonable to live for you per month?
Well, I gotta tell you what would be apart. Like house, the rent is 670.
670 a month for rent. Okay.
Electricity is 300.
Electricity's 300. I tell people about electric all the time.
Expensive.
Yeah. So we're at almost $1,000 right there.
Yeah.
School, food.
Wow.
Food's probably what?
Yeah. That's
800, 900 a month? More?
more. We're 4 people.
1,000, 1,500 a month?
Yes, something like that.
Yep. Okay. Where are you going for food? Ole?
Now we go to Bravo.
Bravo.
We used to go to Jumbo.
Bravo's our new Colmado in Punta Cana. They deliver.
Good.
They deliver.
Actually, one of the best ones.
Yeah.
Punta Cana.
Yep.
I will say
they're good.
it's not the best. Second.
I think the pricing, people get a little, I think for people that think Bravo is like so cheap, I don't agree. Even on the white label stuff, I've done all these comparisons. People are telling me I'm wrong. It's not, they're not much different. Nacional, Jumbo,
They're
Bravo.
selling their products.
Their products.
And their products are really good.
I like their bread.
Yes.
I like their bread a lot. Bravo's bread.
Like Bravo brand.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like we've been testing the brand, like slowly, everything, milk, things that you used to use all the time.
Yeah.
And cereals, all their products that I test, they're good.
Agreed.
Very good.
So, all right. So we're talking about Eric, middle-class Dominican, $1,500 a month for food. We said about $1,000 for electric and house. That's 25. Say 350. Let's 350 for your kids. So like 20. How much did I say? 25. So 28. Yeah. And then we haven't talked about gas, car, insurance, health insurance.
We have 2 cars.
You guys get it, right? So like at the same time, the way he lives, if you did it in the United States, would be 2 to 3 times the amount. What was the question? It was for family of 4, right? For a family of 4, we're thinking of moving there. Now, if you take it to somebody like me, who's, at a bilingual international school, we pay for the year. But if you were to put that monthly, say 18,000 over 10 months, that's 1,800 a month or 1,500 a month if you did the whole year. Rent in a neighborhood like a Punta Cana Village is going to be, let's say in a condo, 2,000. I mean, even in Vista Cana in a house, say 1,500 to 2,000 a month. Electric, $300, $400, $500 a month, right? So it's definitely going to be more costly than a lot of people want to give it credit for. So I would say if you're a family of 4, you should budget at least $5,000 a month. That's my take. That may seem like a lot to some. That may not seem like a lot to others. I could tell you for that $5,000 a month, you've got a cleaning lady, you've got great schools, you're in the Caribbean, you've got access to beaches, you're eating at nice restaurants, like you're living in the Hamptons of the Dominican Republic for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month. That's how you have to look at it. If you want to live for not much, go to the campo. Nikki Abreu, right? Nicole Abreu. What?
I don't think 5,000 is enough.
He says 5,000 is too low. Yeah.
No, for the kind of life you have.
Well, mine is different. I'm not like, we bought a big house. We're spending some money. We've been very lucky. My wife always says I'm too apologetic about like earning a good living, but I never want to come across as like, you have to live like me. That's not my intention. But I'm not saying like my life, but if you were to live like Vista Cana in a condo,
still 5,000.
You think 5,000 is light?
Whenever you mention go to the restaurants and things like that, you're gonna spend 300 on one night, like
for a family of 4. Yeah.
Okay, let's say 200.
200 for a family of 4.
Times on a week, on a month, you're gonna be in a restaurant eating. It will depend. 200
True.
If you're just 2 persons.
He's right.
If you have a family of 4,
if you don't eat out much,
it's gonna be 300,
yeah.
150.
And
5,000 when you stick around, as you say, like gas of the car. If you're a family, if you have 2 cars, like this is what it is around. Like I might be around $4,500, $1,000.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
So no way.
I know.
Live in Vista Cana.
That's true.
With a $2,000 rent.
If you guys can't hear him, he's saying, like, man, he's like, for me, living in a modest community, a nice middle class community with kids in a Spanish only private school, less expensive. He's like, for me, it's $5,000 a month. So if you're gonna live in a Vista Cana, Punta Cana Village, whatever,
no way.
he feels like it's well more than 5,000 for a family of 4. Now, this person here, Raphael, said 2K, no kids, 2,500 with a partner who doesn't work, 500 per child monthly on a cheap private school. 2K with no kids?
No.
Maybe. I mean, maybe he is. I don't know. But I mean, you're probably not going out much. You probably don't have a lot of frills, in my opinion, for 2K. And I'm a believer in living, not surviving. You can survive in DR on $600 a month. Who was the guy? Tommy Bryson used to live in San Pedro. He moved to Dallas or whatever, but he lived in San Pedro, and he was really clear how he spent his money. But dude, like, very meticulous on expense. Oh no, I borrow my mom's car. I do this, I do that, right? I don't buy these things, and I didn't get health insurance. I'm like, yeah, man, you start to add this stuff up.
I'm from San Pedro, so
you are from San Pedro. Eric disagrees with Tommy being from San Pedro.
No. People might say something because we are on internet.
Yeah.
You can lie to me.
If you're wondering why I'm not showing Eric, is because he's nude and waiting for me over there. Right, Eric? You're naked waiting for me?
Oh, come on, man. Fuck you.
That's too funny. All right, so let's keep going on this. So this question was about cost of living. Let me see what other people have said about it. Oh yeah, let's go Patriots. What did this person say? I joined the inner circle. It's enlightening and educational. There you go. Commitment, plug for that. And then Richard said, pay for my group subscription. The inner circle by what I save for health insurance. We have a health insurance broker exclusive to the inner circle, and you get 10% off of health, auto, and property insurance by being a member of the inner circle with my guy. You can still use him if you don't have the inner circle, but you'll get 10% more off if you're an inner circle member and use them. That's what he means. So jamiegruber.com, check it out. D. Polanco agrees to rent long-term in Vista Cana. I agree with that. We talked about this cost of living. Raphael said living in cities is not as cheap as living in the undeveloped areas. 100% agree with that. We've seen a significant savings at Bravo over Jumbo or Serena. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. I just haven't seen that savings. Maybe it's what I'm buying.
Yes.
He says yes too. So I'm in the minority on this. Aside from Jamie's obsession with a certain football team, the inner circle is good stuff. I appreciate that. Oh, I got a bunch of Bills stuff. I want to see the Bills win. I want to see Josh Allen. He's a good dude, man. He better win. As a Cowboys fan, Skeptical says that. Cowboys beat us twice, so you should root for us once. Can I get Section 8 and Snap Card with cash in the DR? I don't believe so, Elvin. I don't believe so. Hi, all. 4th day in DR. Wandolio food has been an issue for us. Food in what way? Let me know. Like finding it, quality of it, cost of it. Let me know. And then I'm going to go to more of these questions. Let me hide that comment so I can see these questions. Gringos being target of sellers, says Tammy Strongman. 24/7 everywhere. How do you manage it? Gringos being target of sellers. I don't know. Gringos definitely want to, people want to sell to gringos or tourists here, right? You look, but target is a strong word. And 24/7,
it's a way, like a cool way to say it.
A
target.
Cruel way?
Like, remember we talk about it. Like, it will depends the way you say the things. It's not bad. True.
Yeah, I don't feel targeted as a gringo living in DR.
You, man, you are like something way different, but it's
because I'm bald.
No, no. Whenever a seller see a person that they think they're gonna sell and over the price or whatever, that might be their target.
Sure. Well, there's a couple things to know as a gringo living here. Like you've got to know some quick things. I'll give you a couple stories, a couple examples, right? When somebody at a restaurant is convincing you, and they will, that, oh yeah, well, you pay the 10% in the bill, the legal, but the restaurants never give that to us. That may be true, but that's also a great way for that waiter to get extra money out of you. So keep that in mind. Like there are ways very easily for that person to report their employer if they're not paying them the 10%, that the government will act on. I've seen it. I know people who have done it. So there's a little bit of a what's the word? I don't want to say scam, but there's a little bit of like appealing to, oh, we know, like Dominicans aren't dumb, right? Like the waiter at the restaurant knows that, oh, just tell them that we're still here. We're busy. Or are we being too loud? Maybe you got to ask them. Cleaning lady at the hotel. So you got to know there's a hustle there. So you got to kind of like, yeah, okay, cool. you are not the person that needs to make that up. If you don't owe them 20% if that restaurant isn't paying them. Go find another job. There are abundant restaurants out there. The other thing is, they're knocking again. Maybe I'm being too loud. The other thing is, hold on.
You put this one out. Sorry.
Oh, okay. We put the wrong one out. The other thing is, like, I was at the airport, right? And I live across the street. I literally live like a mile from my house to the airport, right? But you got to cross like a traffic circle and all that. And I'm like, let me grab a cab, right? And I'm in my mind, I'm like, I'll pay $10, even though it's right there. I'll pay $10. I walk out, the cabbie goes, oh, in the cab, I'm like, yeah, taxi. He's like, oh, it's $30. I'm like, are you out of your mind? He goes, no, it's $30. So I'm like, I'll walk. You can't walk. I'm like, watch me. And I walked home, right? So you just got to know what the price should be, what the market is, whether you're going to pay a little bit more. And if you're in Punta Cana, look, guys, it comes with a tax, right? Like the second somebody enters the peaje, a vendor, a contractor, you're going to pay 10, 15% more than if it was in La Romana or Santo Domingo, or maybe more than that percentage if it was in the middle of the country like La Vega. You just have to know that, and just whatever. It's still way less than you pay in the United States. But I don't feel like I'm a target. I just think you have to know what's accurate and deal with it. That's my take.
I think the targets is just because whenever you are a gringo living in United States, when you leave the Dominican Republic, you become another Dominican. Like you are a Dominican.
I'm a Dominican?
Yeah, because you know how the things go. So whenever this person talk about target is, I might be the gringos at the resorts. People
at the resort, sure. Yeah.
But I don't think he means like you won't be a target for a seller. Like
you know why? You know why now?
Because
no. There's a very clear reason why I won't be targeted by people anymore. I wear pants. I've become that guy. I never understood how people in DR wear pants. And then I'm like, I'm just gonna throw on jeans today. And people are like, you're wearing pants. I'm like, yeah. What do you mean? So
I got something to say about restaurants.
Yeah.
Sadly, I have to tell you that I hear from people that I know. This is the truth.
The 10%.
Sometimes they
100%.
They don't give it to them. Oh, they might put it as a part of their payments.
Yep.
Like this is something, they take that 10%, put it all together, and this is your commission.
Right.
They don't give it to them as a tip
on each table. Correct. It's pooled.
Yes.
They take it all in and they spread it out.
They're supposed to
right.
do, but the restaurants, sadly, they play a lot around.
Completely agree. My point, what he's saying is that restaurants do deny that 10%. They do somehow manipulate that. I completely agree with that. My point is that there are those that don't, and there are ways for you to get around that. There are ways for those employees to get around. There are other restaurants they can go work for. So just be mindful of that hustle. You know what it's like? It's the your construction project, sir, with us is delayed. I mean, look at the Haitian, what do they call it? Deportations.
Yes.
Right. So they're like, oh, there's no more Haitians left. They're all gone. I'm like, right?
That's not true.
It's an easy, my point with the 10% and somebody telling you like, oh yeah, they don't give us the money. Like that might be true, but it's not your responsibility to be the benefactor on behalf of that restaurant if they're not doing it. And it's the same thing if a contractor or developer tells you that your project is delayed because of all the deportations. It's a really easy, convenient way to leverage what the media is showing, that there have been deportations. And it's hard for you to question it, like, oh, I have seen that in the news. But dude, do you see a lack of Haitian labor?
Yes.
In the construction? You see it not enough?
No, come on.
There's plenty.
Come on. Yeah, no, that's a lot.
There's plenty. So just say it. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't have an impact in some circles, but for those that are leaning on that as why your project's delayed, I'd be skeptical. That's my only thing on that. All right, let's go to another question here. Steve D. Travel says, is it annoying answering the same questions? No, I have a lot of fun with this, but I appreciate the question, Steve. Manny, do they use gas or electric utilities in Punta Cana, or both? Monthly cost on average? Both. We have gas for like our stove, our dryer, for our hot water. In our house that we lived in before the one we bought, there was an electric hot water heater that we would schedule to turn on twice a day, like before when we woke up, quick hot shower, and then before bed, a hot shower, right? Otherwise, throughout the day, the hot water wasn't really coming out. So both. Electric, if you own, let's just say you're living in a 300 square meter, which is like a 3,000 square foot, 3 or 4 bedroom home, and you've got AC in the bedrooms and you run it at night, I would expect to pay between $400 and $600 a month for that per month on electric. Gas isn't much. Gas is probably like $30 a month.
Yeah, it's
right?
not much.
It's not much. Gas isn't too expensive. You just have them come and fill it up for you. Ruben Martinez says, have you heard about forest residences in Las Canas, Cap Cana? If so, what's your opinion? I haven't. I don't know enough about it. Las Canas is fine. If there's a spot in Cap Cana that has neighborhood potential, it's Las Canas
Really good. It's growing.
and Las Iguanas. Yeah,
It's growing. It's growing. It's really good. Las Canas is.
he loves Cap Cana. Las Canas has heritage school, so like kids tend to live in there.
Projects. They making beautiful houses there.
Yeah, it's coming along. And then Magic Marcus says, what's the real estate market like right now in Las Terrenas? If you have any idea, I was just up there. I think Las Terrenas is like closer to Punta Cana pricing than most realize. Like it's actually fairly expensive compared to like, I don't know, Cabarete, or if you go out to especially like Las Galeras all the way out at the end of Samaná. But it's a hot market. Las Terrenas, man, when I went there last time, it's like, wow, I love going. It's so compressed. They're building a second supermarket there. They only have a La Sirena. They're building a Merca, like the one they just built in Punta Cana, that jumbo market, which is good. But like the roads are really tight. So many people funneling through them. Like it's become a bit chaotic for my taste for living. Most
100%.
most
Jimmy,
beautiful
you have
beaches.
To say, don't recommend Las Terrenas for living.
You don't recommend it for living?
No.
Wow.
And you either. You just say it.
For
you
me.
Just say on your way.
For me.
That.
No, but for me, like I look at it like a family of 4, no way. No way. But if I was a single guy, I'd live in Las Terrenas.
Single guy, a retired guy, like an old guy, very bandido, like to cha-cha-cha, something like that.
Sure. But as a family guy?
No way.
I agree with him. All right, let me see what the next questions are here. Oh, I'm gonna pull up a next set of questions. Let's see if we can get these. Oh, what are these? I can't see them all there.
I hope you guys can't hear me.
Can you hear Eric? You should just drop down below if you can hear him or not. I'd be curious. Let me do this view so you can see. I would like to, let's see, what is this, Sagittario? I would like to semi-retire in Vista Cana. Any thoughts? I think it's a great place. I think it's coming along. They have a new La Sirena market. La Nube is being built in front. You can live a golf cart lifestyle. Like you're really close to being able to do that and not have to leave Vista Cana for whatever it's worth. So I think it's a great retirement spot. I'm going to continue to plant the BJJ seed. That's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. When I first read it, I thought it was kind of funny too. You were thinking the same thing. Yeah. Anyway, have you ever considered doing Jiu-Jitsu? It's funny. Yes. In fact, me and my 2 boys, there's a studio in the village, I believe, that I want to go to. It's a goal of mine for 2026. Ken Fitzgerald, how many times per month should I get the pool cleaned? So we currently don't have a pool, but we've had a pool. And in where we live, and many people have, I said this on Instagram, and a lot of people message me like, yeah, we agree. It's 6 days a week. So Monday through Saturday, they want to do it that much. We don't need them to, but they're like, oh, it's easier for us to quick clean, quick chemical, and move on, like 10 minutes a day versus coming back once a week and doing a big overhaul on everything. 6 days a week. And I think we were paying around 6,000 to 7,000 pesos, like $100-ish for the month for pool cleaning. It's not expensive. That one was pretty easy. Nefmi Dina says, what up with Camp David investment opportunity video? So Nefmi is referring to my Santiago video tour I did with David Bermudez, who he and his family own Camp David. They will be launching a real estate project in the hills of Camp David. More to come. I don't have anything for you right now. Rafael, oh no, let me go to the bottom here. Los Robles project, don't know it, Sally. M. Moran, where are we meeting next week? Another Inner Circle person. It is in the announcements group inside the Inner Circle WhatsApp chat. We got our spot. It's also in the Punta Cana chat for our Punta Cana meetup, which is the 22nd. And then Rafael, when are you going to Bahia de las Águilas? My plan is February, March. I've got a really cool 7-day, 10-day challenge thing that I'm going to do for YouTube. Stay tuned. So my plan is to go at that point. And we have a few more questions I'm going to answer before I let you guys all go here. Let me go to this one real quick. I got to see it on a different screen. What does that look like? It's gray in the top right, so it must be this one. Here we go. Start in the top left here. Once we sign up for the Inner Circle, a lot of Inner Circle questions. How do we gain access? You'll get an email. If you're joining the Inner Circle, you get an email. It'll ask you to reply with your WhatsApp number. If you don't see it, you can email collab@jamiegruber.com. Might be in your spam or promotions tab. Living in DR, do you have any issues with Verizon Wireless? I heard they cut off after a while. I have not any issues. I have a Verizon phone. We pay, it's like $82 a month per line for the all things everything plan. It gives you international calling. There are limitations on the data usage. Like I think it's like give you like a certain amount of gigs per month and then it dissipates. I don't really use it. This is my Claro phone. I'm here hopefully finally getting both on one. I've had a problem with that, but I use Claro. I use WhatsApp on Claro for most things. So I don't really use the Verizon phone beyond like calls I need to make from my US phone number. But I need to switch to like Mint just to hold the phone number or whatever. I don't need the Verizon plan anymore. No issues. I think because I travel back to the States enough, it resets that 2-year, I hear, mark of like, oh, they're going to cut you off if you're gone for 2 years and you're using the signal. So no, I haven't had any issues. Where was I here? Punta Cana Village is having a festival this February. They're having Carnival, February 20 and 21 in Punta Cana. There's a Carnival Instagram account that you can go check out too. Hi, want to buy an apartment in DR to rent. What is your advice? I'll go back to what I said earlier. Consider long-term rental over Airbnb unless you're doing something beachfront or very close to the beach. JKAZ in the top right here says, need a government inspection for pre-construction condo violation. Does MIVED handle it? I think so. I talked to a lawyer on this. I go to my lawyer all the time first. If you guys ever need a referral for a lawyer, a realtor, whatever, jamiegruber.com/referrals. They're all in there. You guys can click and do what you got to do. It's my birthday, and the present was the inner circle. Esther, I love that. Great, glad to hear. Io Cavelloito said we purchased. Congrats to you. Robert, I'm guessing real estate. Robert, 1920, how do we solve the trash problem in DR? There's a really great video I did on YouTube with Jake Keel. This guy. Oh, I can't. Whatever. Maybe I can remove this quick. Hold on. How do I get rid of that? Well, whatever. Oh, here. Remove, and then I'll add him to the stage. This guy. I did with Jake Keel, who's the head of sustainability for Grupo Punta Cana. Here's how the trash problem ends in DR. Within the last year, the DR government set up a trust fund. That trust fund allocates certain tax dollars into it, which is to be distributed to waste management companies in the country. Before I go any further, I asked the question, and I'm sure some of you have it like, yeah, right. I'm sure it does. And even Jake nonchalantly would be like, I mean, whatever's taken out for whatever it is taken out. But the money is, meaning like if there is corruption in it, okay, let's account for a portion of that. But the money still does get filtered to these businesses. And these businesses are going like, wait. We can get subsidized for trash mitigation, for like doing things cool with trash. So now what's happening, and it's happening right now in Punta Cana, you've got the desire to minimize the amount of waste that goes to a landfill because it costs less for these enterprises, while government money comes in for all of these mitigation efforts. So for Grupo Punta Cana and what they're doing in San Francisco de Macorís, and they just opened this up in Santo Domingo Este, they are facilities that will measure waste of food waste and do things like mass composting of that. There's recycling facilities that are pulling the recyclables out and actually recycling them. This is all starting with this government subsidy in place now. And the biggest thing is, if I go back to when I was a kid in the 80s, trash was a problem in the US, and then it became education and enforcement. Don't do it, and if you do, we're going to fine you. Trash problem got cleaned up in my childhood. I remember it. I remember people throwing bags out of the car, just like you see in DR when you go through the woods, like styrofoam cups, which, by the way, styrofoam is being outlawed in DR soon, which is controversial because people like their cup at the river. But anyway, so the big thing is education's fine. The US in the 80s was a more educated and socioeconomically successful place than the poorest of the poor in DR. So just to go and say, hey, it's not good and we're going to fine you, doesn't really hold much teeth. However, because these trash companies now want to collect this trash, there's value in it, they can place a value on the collection of that trash. So imagine going into Villa Meja or wherever, Mao, and saying to locals who don't make a lot of money, like, see all that trash, plastic, cardboard, all of it that's out there. You pick that up and bring it to this facility over here, we'll pay you for it. That, to me, when that becomes like pervasive, when that becomes all over the place, is the beginning of the end of the trash problem in DR. I don't know the timeline. I don't know how long, but that system and structure is in place. It was featured on my YouTube channel. Go watch it. And I think that's got a lot of potential. It's like, let's not try to educate an uneducated populace, because look, if you can make one complaint about DR, the one investment that they haven't made, I think, to the level they need to, is in education. Never mind education, people understand money. They go collect that stuff and bring it to that facility. There's money, and then that facility can arbitrage that. They can sell the plastics overseas. They can sell the compost. There's a lot of things they can do, and they can reduce the amount that goes to a landfill, which reduces their costs. I hope that answers that question, which was, where is it? Which was right here, I think. Was it the one? How do we end the trash problem? Oh yeah, down here in the bottom right. How do we solve the trash problem in the Dominican Republic? Does that make sense for all of you on the trash thing? Let me know what you all think as my voice is going. I think I only have one more screen of questions for all of you to answer. And then if there's any in the chat, I'll grab those as well. Let me go here. I got to look at it on a bigger screen for me. Where is that? It is right here. Yeah. All right. We already answered, is it annoying answering the same questions? Am I better getting the loan to buy a property in the DR in the United States? You can't get a loan for a property as collateral with US dollars in the DR. You can get a home equity line. You can take a loan out of your 401k. You can get a home equity loan. You can get a private loan, whatever. If you can do that in the US and apply those funds to a property in the DR, that's the best way. If you can't, mortgages are available in DR. What I can tell you, and I experienced this, is going direct to banks is a pain in the ass. They are a pain in the ass. We found a mortgage broker, kind of a new industry in DR. Mortgage broker understood that, hey, Jamie, they're asking for information you're providing and highlighting. Here's how much I make. Look, I got a good income. I could show you. But they're like, yeah, but you don't have a W-2. You don't have like a reliable income. We don't trust that. The mortgage broker understood, like, but your credit rating is really good. These 3 banks over here care about that. I'm going to take credit rating, put it to the front of your stack, highlight that with these 3 banks for you, and get you the loan. They did that in 45 days. From the time that I talked to them to the time that I closed, 45 days. I was dealing with the bank for 4 months, back, forth, same documents. Mortgage broker's huge. jamiegruber.com/referrals. If you want to connect with them, they're one of my referral network now because they did a great job for me. So that's my take on buying a property. If you can get the loan in the States that's not affiliated with your DR property because you're not going to get that, great. If not, you can get a mortgage here. I would go through a broker. Gustavo is asking, how do you rate the involvement of the Ranieri family in developing Punta Cana? I mean, they're everything. I know there's some controversy sometimes with the Ranieri family. People say, oh, they did this, they did that. Did you know this? Did you know that? Like, Punta Cana exists because of the Ranieri family. So rate them. I mean, one of the biggest visionaries that created something out of it that I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'm amazed by it. How is the sarcasm now? We've already talked about. Do you see chemtrails in DR? I don't think I do. Could be wrong. What banks do you recommend in DR? Moving from Florida. Here, I would say this. Any bank that you've got a relationship with somebody at that bank is the best bank to go to. I can give you the list. There's Scotia. There's Banco Popular. There's Banco Santa Cruz, right? Yeah. There's Banco Lopez de Aro. That one I hear the best customer service reviews out of. There's Banreservas. That one is the worst customer service reviews. I'm not a big Banreservas fan. That doesn't mean they're bad. They're national bank. And if you've seen some AI generated content, how they're going bankrupt, like that's garbage. That circulated quickly and was found to be fake. BHD is a good bank. They're all good. We have an account with a bank called JMMB. They're all good banks. They're all fine. But the value of it is, do you have a relationship with the bank? For instance, the manager at one of the banks I use, and I shared this in the inner circle, one of the things, the tips, I'm able to negotiate certain things in my favor with him because I have a relationship there and I bank with them. Like there's a lot there, folks, but the best person, the best bank is the one where you have a personal relationship, whether you form it after you join or before. It's not easy to open accounts. Typically, it can be a pain in the butt, but I'd recommend one of the bigger ones just so you have like ATM access everywhere. But Scotia, Popular, BHD, Lopez, Santa Cruz, Asociacion Cibao is fine, but you can't get a dollar account there, I don't think. You can get dollar and peso accounts at all the other ones. And we have one of each at both banks that we have. Let's see. Do you know about Alba Bay and Monte Cristi? Do you think it's legit? I don't know about it. I apologize. And a gray shirt I had on that day. Yes, I wore a gray shirt. All right. Those are all the questions there. Let's remove this. Let's now go over here because I see some questions here. And let's go right from the bottom up. Certain areas in DR have a trash problem, but not nationwide. If you travel around, you see the differences. Santiago is clean. Right, Eric? Do you see a lot of trash in Santiago?
No.
No. Santiago is pretty clean. Punta Cana is not bad, honestly. Parts of Santo Domingo are not bad. Parts of Santo Domingo are bad. And then when you get into some of the woods and the compost, like it's gross. Higüey, gross. So you're right, Albert. It's not everywhere, but still a problem. And when you're driving to me down the highway into Santo Domingo and you're going through Santo Domingo Este and you see it all there, it's like bad first impression of your premier city. Any recommendations on a good property management company? I don't have one. Any recommendations are on jamiegruber.com/referrals. Those are ones I can vouch for. But I don't have a good property management company right now. Hi, Jamie. Macano in New Jersey just joined. Please share your thoughts on the new Dominican Republic electronic passport. I heard it has been improved and now is a higher world ranking. I haven't gotten too deep into this. I know it exists, but I haven't gotten deep enough into this to speak intelligently on it yet, Norbert. So let me come back to you on that. Hey, Jamie, do a live video on healthcare and insurance in the DR. I've done, not live, but I've done 2 different videos, maybe 3 now on my YouTube channel, including one where I cut my head and I explained the bank, the system. And it's funny, some people think it's like, oh, see, that's why it's bad. Like, no, guys, when I do my videos, what I'm trying to do is expose a concern and then how you deal with it. I'm not living in DR to change the culture. My wife says the same. She's Dominican. It's like, we decided to live there. So it's like, well, how do you adapt there? And there's some ways to do that. Like in the medical system, it's like the banking system. Who do you know? So you have people that you can message and you can, like heads of clinics, owners of hospitals at midnight on a Thursday, and they serve you, they reply to you. Like that's an amazing feature of life in DR. Even if like the triage when you enter a private clinic or even a public clinic isn't the best. But what I would say is have local insurance for sure. If you're traveling and have travel insurance, understand that there are certain things that aren't covered. A member of the Inner Circle's wife was in San Francisco de Macorís, fell off an ATV, travel insurance denied them. Why? You need to purchase an off-road vehicle endorsement on your travel policy. If you're playing soccer and get hurt, you fall off a horse and get hurt, those are denied travel insurance unless you purchase the right coverage. If you go to jamiegruber.com/referrals and go to the insurance referral, that guy sells travel insurance. His name is Victor. He's amazing. In the Inner Circle, he gives 10% discounts on all coverages except travel insurance because it's so cheap. So you won't get a 10% discount on that, but local insurance you will, so have it. And even we've had to use our auto policy, and Umano did a great job for us, but I have a lot of videos on that. I don't know if I'd go live on that, but maybe we shall see. I've been looking to invest in Playa Nueva Romana. It has the beach, golf, etc. What do you think? I haven't been in there. Eric's from San Pedro. It's a nice spot. It's well located. I hear good things about it, but I haven't been in there, so I'm not sure. I have mint and claro. Thank you for that, your friend Pablo. I'll have to do the same. Best bargain and the best kept secret in the country is Jarabacoa, particularly appealing for those who dislike the heat and are indifferent to the beach. Oh, for sure. No disagreement here. Las Terrenas town, ghetto, way too crowded. I don't think it's ghetto. I think it's very nice, but it's crowded, no doubt about it. Actually is ghetto. It's too crowded. That was before that, so I'm going bottom to top here. I don't believe in ghetto, but yeah. Yes, we can. I hear you loud and clear. Definitely hear you. Oh, you hear Eric. Okay, got it. You got it. I was wondering what that meant. What do we got here? Gringo Favorito. I appreciate that. Rafi Perez. I told my wife the other day, I'm like, from now on, you call me Ray. She's like, why? I'm like, El Ray. It's my name from now on. She's like, yeah. Her favorite phrase is, you're an idiot. Welcome to New England. The Bills game will be blacked out. Whatever, Richard. Whatever. Your thoughts on the idea of the 50-year mortgage being tossed around? Admiral Reefer, I wish I could find the video. I called this like 6 years ago. Here's my thoughts on the 50-year mortgage. I'll be quick because there's other questions here. Here's my thoughts on the 50-year mortgage. Affordability in the United States is not about the price of housing. It is about the price of monthly budgets, meaning how much people can spend. If I can buy, $1 million house is a lot. But if I can get $1 million house for $3,000 a month, well then, I can afford $1 million house. That's how Americans buy houses. In the Dominican, you buy the house. Debt isn't a big feature of that society. So I said this years ago. I'm like, all right, look, in the 70s, the 30-year mortgage became a thing when inflation spiked, cost of housing went up. It was a temporary fix intended to fix the affordability issue, go from 15 max to 30 years now. And then it never went away. Well, in the 70s versus today, there's been a lot of data. Number one is people don't stay in a house more than 6 years typically, where they sell and move on. Like people don't usually stay through a 30-year, like the masses. Number two is that average lifespan has increased by about 10 years from the 70s to today. So why would you, in an era where people think affordability is about like, the prices are just going up, blah, 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 blah. You don't have enough property out there. There's not enough building. That's why prices are up. And then you've got, people don't know this, 40% of the population doesn't have a mortgage in the United States. Only 60% does. And of that 60% today, like 60% of those people, their mortgage is sub 4%. They're not selling. They won't sell. So you've got a supply constraint. This is broad. Jacksonville is the opposite. There's a demand supply imbalance. It is a seller's market. I'm sorry, it is a buyer's market, right? Prices are going down. Austin went through that, although I think it's coming back up. I'm just talking general broad terms. The United States has not enough inventory for the demand. They have housing stock that's too expensive. And now you've got restricted supply because of low, like people that don't need to sell. You don't have buyers or sellers in distress like you did in 08 when they were doing short-term debt, 100% loan to value and interest-only mortgages. And then the values came out. That created a supply dynamic. With way too much supply, it crashed the market. You don't have those fundamentals today. So how do you fix affordability? One of two ways. You build a ton of housing stock. Like you go wild building housing stock. 3D printed, what are they called? The storage container things. What are those? All these houses being built with them. You guys know what I'm talking about. Or I said this 6 years ago, you extend amortization. You say, well, we did 30 years in the 70s when inflation spiked. So why not do it today to 40 years or 50 years? People are living longer. People only stay in houses 6 years anyway. Extend the amortization. 50 years is the beginning. It's the tip of the iceberg. It'll be 80. It'll be 100. There will be legacy. There will be assignment of debt to the next generation, which I think you could do in some countries. 50 years is just the beginning. This is how affordability gets fixed in the United States because we are a debt-focused society. We're a mortgage society. DR is not that. DR is a pay cash society or pay it off fast society. And the U.S. is uniquely advantaged by being able to have long-term amortization for banks. They can put that money out there forever because Fannie and Freddie buy up all of that debt and replenish the bank's coffers. DR, Canada, nowhere else can do that. Nowhere else has that. That's my thoughts. That makes sense to all of you, or was that like way too high level? I don't know. But I've been calling this for years, and I wish I could find the video. So I think this was inevitable, and it makes me the smartest guy here. So everything I say about the Dominican Republic in 5 years is going to be right. That's a joke. That's not true. I want to make sure somebody doesn't just clip that and say, look, this gringo thinks he knows everything. I'm a miserable New York Jets fan, says Albert, who is rooting for Buffalo because I can relate to their suffering. I get you. Accountants are important. We have one. My wife deals with them because they speak Spanish. Let's see what else we got. Eventually move to DR in about 10 more years. What do you think? It looks like, Nelson, you had something before that. There you go. Question for my first property in DR. Should I get an apartment in Vista Cana like both my sister have apartments over there in Vista Cana, or should I go for a house instead? I want to rent it. I think you're going to have better luck renting a house than an apartment. And if you want to move here, that's a question for you, man. Like, what is for you? Do you want apartment life or house life? I think in Vista Cana specifically, house HOAs are lower than apartment because you've got the amenities included in it. So consider that. Do you want a lawn? Do you want to take care of all of that? So it's really up to you. I think, generally speaking, I believe Vista Cana has a good future, a big future. Freddie, hey, Jamie, looking forward to meeting you around the end of March. I think it's going to be interesting. Always interesting. Always interesting. The biggest obstacle, says Elvin, for me to go back to DR after 43 years of living in the USA is the Dominican taxes. If I build there, I'll be paying taxes in 2 countries. If you build here you're talking about property taxes, I assume. Yes, there's a lot to that. Without knowing your specific situation, there's ways of making sure you don't, but there's also ways that you would pay in both places. So I don't want to get too into that because I don't know the situation. Quality and cost. I just paid $50 for 2 burgers and 2 sodas. Burgers smell fish, which means they use the same oil to fry everything. Oh, sorry about that. Back to the cost issue we were talking about. Like, it costs more than people want to admit to live in a Punta Cana and in DR in general, to be honest with you. However, we went out to dinner last night at Del Frisco's in downtown Boston. We got 2 good steaks, 2 nice desserts, and the bill was $350 before tip. So $420-ish with the tip, 20%. So $420, that same meal, same quality, same everything, right? All the things, nice restaurant, like SPG type experience, which is more ambiance than food. Nina in Cap Cana would have been $250. It would have been $100 less. So you get more for the money, but $250 for a dinner in Dominican Republic, a lot of people believe is like crazy, but it's Punta Cana, it's in Santo Domingo, it's in Santiago. Again, varying degrees, and you can find way cheaper, but you spend more than you think, but you spend less than the US has been my talking point recently. We got Skeptical saying, I watched the Cowboys beat the Bills in 93 and 94. Named my first son born in 96, Troy. You are a Cowboys fan. Bills won 4 out of the last 5 versus Broncos, 32-24. I hope so. I hope so. We shall see. Willie says, was offered a job as a senior construction PM in DR for a big government project, but I make a little above six figures. Should I make the move? Willie, man, that's a big question. I don't know what they pay in that kind of job. Like, I'm always surprised by, there are certain jobs here that are like 300 grand. And then like the next person down is like 45,000, So like salaries to me here, I don't know. If in my opinion, if you're making 80% of what you make in the States and you want to move to DR, then you'll be fine living in DR. Remember the great Thurman Thomas losing his helmet? Yes. Never forget that. Never forget that. Driving from Maryland to Boston. Come on, man. I hope not today. It's supposed to be, well, if you are, I'll see you tonight. Got my first apartment at Punta Cana, the beach. Thanks, Jamie. Got a lot of info from you. Oh, congrats. One eye, Willie. Hope you can see it with both eyes, my friend. That's bad. Maybe you only do have one eye. Not bad, man. Senor says, the days of living in DR with beer money, having a champagne taste are over. Yes. Having said that, you get what you pay for. And if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Let me just a couple comparisons. In the US, we paid $800 a month, $200 a week, once a week for a cleaning crew to come in and like clean our house, but not tidy it up. Like but they would mop and vacuum and dust and clean and do our sheets, and $200 a week, $800 a month. Like, that's fairly reasonable for a cleaning company to come in and clean your house once a month. In the Dominican Republic, we also pay $800 a month, but we have 7 day a week help in our house that does our laundry, does our cleaning, does our cooking. Same price, more value. In the the Dominican Republic, we pay $300 a month for our gym, $300 a month each for our gym. My wife and I. People are like, that's insanity. So it's like $7 grand a year, right? 3 times 12, 3,600. Yeah, $7 grand a year between the two of us. With that comes access to everything in the gym, all the classes, and we get 12 times a month personal training, 3 times a week, 12 sessions, an hour long with a personal trainer for $300 a month, including the gym. That would be about a $25 an hour, maybe a little bit less, trainer. In the US, your starting trainers are $75. You get my point. You don't need to spend that money. Go to SmartFit and it's $20 a month. But if you are spending that money, you could spend $300 in the US, you could spend $300 here. $300 in the US gets you a base membership at LA Fitness. $300 in the Dominican Republic, you're going to get a membership at a premier gym with 12 personal training sessions, your body weight measured. We get these scans every other month or whatever. They give us this whole write-up, nutrition plans, all of that. You spend way more in the US for that. So it's not, I love this. It's not beer money with champagne taste. You don't have that anymore. You don't buy beachfront property for $100 grand. It just doesn't happen. But you do get what you pay for. Let's see what this is. DR mining exports have reached 2.6 billion. That's a 52% increase from 2024. I'm just wondering if they are paying off any debt with it instead of pocketing. It's a good question. I know debt is something that they're willing to take on more of. A lot of people get leery about that. So far, debt to GDP is still healthy. Not unhealthy, I should say. Healthy is a strong word. Is not unhealthy. GDP drop might make it that. But this is something that for sure, I don't know, like DR is like a startup company. You're taking in that revenue. Is it reinvestment into infrastructure, reinvestment into, roads and bridges and everything else? Or is it debt payoff? I don't know. I think DR is in a growth mode, which means they're more likely to take on debt than they are to pay off debt. It's a matter of do they reach an inflection point? So we shall see. Do a video on monthly expenses, a nice Excel. I have those. I have like 20 of those. Go into my library. People are getting sick of me talking about it. No good food and prices on menu doesn't match the one on Factura and Absurd. I'm not sure on that one. That might be from a different part of the conversation. Aside from Jamie's obsession with a certain football team, the inner circle is good stuff. Thank you, Papa Penguin Pontificates. I think we already came to that one. Let's see. Great idea. Pirate Chef. What did Pirate Chef say? What is a good shipping company in Boston? We'll be moving to Santiago in a few years. Thank you for the Camp David video. Might have my wedding there. Oh, amazing. A good shipping company in Boston. I don't know. We used a company. What just happened here? We used a company. I'm trying to look for them. There we go. We used a company called, I can't find them. You know what? If you go to my newsletter page, if you're jamiegruber.com/newsletter, there's a shipping your vehicle to DR article. And it gives in there the name of a shipping company that we used to get it from the US down, that are all over the United States. Hopefully that helps you. Better to raise your chickens living in the compost and growing your yucca and platanos. Maybe. Again, SK, like if that's on a matter of like cost thing, maybe, but that's a lifestyle thing. Like I don't have any desire to be that guy. Like I'd rather pay a premium and live in Punta Cana or anywhere. That's just me. I took Eric to the apartment I lived in Boston in the Seaport. He's like, dude, have you always lived in like the nicest, richest neighborhood or whatever? I'm like, I like nice things. So pulpy. I'm too pulpy, he said. But if that's what that's in response to, I'm not sure. What does Raph say? Hopefully the sanitation situation improves and transportation, but things are moving forward. So one step at a time, hoping for continued good policies. Agreed on that, Raph. Let me see if there's anything else down here. Can you give input on Sosua? Richard, we had our inner circle call every Tuesday, our Q&A. I have guests on some of them. And we had, I butchered his name, Bobby Macanacanacanahern. I can't say his name, but he runs Realtor DR. And he gave us some insights on Sosua on that call. Here's what I would say, like in brief summary. And by the way, if you're joining the inner circle, I've promoted the hell out of it in this call. I'm going to keep promoting it. It's an awesome community. I am unabashedly promoting it. All of those videos, including the one we did with Robert, the interview or the discussion, are all housed in a private vault, a portal for our members. So you can go back and watch what we talked about. But what he's essentially saying is that you're seeing an influx now of people coming in on Playa Alicia, Playa Sosua, the cleaning up, if you will. It's starting to become, how do I put it? It was like when it happened, there was all this noise and people made all this noise about Sosua is crashing. And as time has gone on, like the noise is still there. It's like the media, right? Like the news, like you see all these influencers and people putting out stuff about Sosua and how bad, and they're showing, oh my God, there's nobody here. And as time has gone on, what's become real is that noise is still there. It hasn't died down. Those people are still saying the same thing, right? But like, it's like, oh, wait. It's like one street in Sosua. It's like one small area of Sosua. That was all that. So like, it's almost like the big scary, like, oh my God, these people are freaking out. It's like, wait a minute. As I step closer to them, they're getting much smaller. So that area has gotten quieter, meaning like that whole thing has gotten quieter. Not that they're not making a lot of noise in that area, but it's gotten quieter. There's some turnover there, but you can see that. And somebody said in the inner circle thing that we did, like, oh man, I walked through there and it's like night and day cleanliness. Somebody said, I come here. I've been coming to Cabarete Sosua for 10 years. He's Dominican. It's like the last time I came was like, I don't know, a year ago and came back. Night and day as far as cleanliness. I did a whole tour of Sosua. I went in and had some tacos and did some fun stuff in the city. And it's a nice town. So I think it's got a lot of upside potential. Remember, it's on premier beachfront. It's a premier beachfront area. To the left of it, you have Punta Bergantin with Puerto Plata. To the right of it, you got Rio San Juan and all the projects that are going on there. You can't have a reputation be that it's a prostitution hub on that beach in that area and allow for this country to thrive. It's not that prostitution went away, but it's been stigmatized, and that area has become much more of a family-friendly place already from what I'm told, and I see that going up and up and up. All right, last one I'm going to write up here. Let's see, great program like always. Have to return to work. Have a great weekend. Let's go Bills. Great way to end it. I'm going to take Eric out on the town. I'm going to paint the town red with them, as they used to say in the 80s. My ask of all of you, subscribe, like, share this video with your friends, and if you haven't tried us out, go to jamiegruber.com, go to the inner circle, give us a try. We're better than Netflix, I promise. There's better stuff in there than there is in Netflix, and we've got so much to offer for you and so much more coming in 2026 for you in that community. So love you all. Have a great Friday. Keep an eye on my YouTube channel for more videos coming out. See ya.